The Amazonian tribe stretches from southern Venezuela to northern Brazil. Yanomami is made up of 40,000 individuals which are divided into 4 subgroups, which include Sinama, Ninam, Yanom, and Yanomamo. All 4 subgroups speak the same language called Yanomami. Accents might vary throughout the groups. The Yanomami live in many small villages. Each family lives in its own large disc communal house called a shobono. A shobono is a large disc-shaped dwelling that can house up to 400 people. Shobonos are built using raw materials from the Yanomami's surroundings such as leaves, vines, and tree trunks. That said, shobonos wears out easily, forcing the Yanomami to build new shobonos every 1 to 2 years. Jobs are divided between both genders. The men hunt animals such as deer, peccary, and monkey. Although it might seem that hunting is a big food source for the Yanomami, it actually isn't. Only 10% of the food comes from a hunting source. Hunters do not eat the flesh that they have killed. Instead, they trade the meat with another hunter. Then each hunter takes the meat back to the shobono where the food gets cooked. Women, on the other hand, are responsible for taking care of the children and completing the daily chores. But more importantly, women are in charge of growing crops such as bananas, mango, sweet potatoes, sugarcane, papaya. Then they must harvest the gardens. Religion is a fundamental part in Yanomami's lives. The Yanomami believe that everything that is either living or non-living has a spirit. Moreover, some of these spirits are malicious. As a result, they attack Yanomamis and cause them sicknesses. The spiritual leaders, called shamans, must control these spirits by sniffing This allows the shamans to see the spirits. Death and salvation is an important concept for Yanomamis. When a Yanomami dies, his soul will only obtain full salvation if the corpse is burned after death. Moreover, the family must eat the ashes of the dead body. Considering this, in a war or a similar situation, it's offensive for a family if its relative's body can't be found. It represents that his soul is caught between life and death. An occasion takes place in an Yanomami village for 2 reasons. 1. A good harvest. 2. A funeral. The Yanomami celebrate a good harvest by inviting everyone in the village. In the ceremony, they eat large amounts of food. Women sing and dance through the night.
It feels like a perfect night to dress up like hips.
During the funeral, the women sing sad songs and cover their faces with grime. After the body is burned, they mix the ashes with bananas to create a mush. All the Yanomami eat the mush. This practice is supposed to reinforce the spirit inside the Yanomami. Although the Yanomami don't actually celebrate weddings, marriage is a great deal for Yanomami. Polygamous marriages, meaning that husbands can have as much wives, are the most typical type of marriages. This practice is commonly used to build better relationships with other Yanomami villages. Yanomami either walk naked or they wrap a string on their lower area. Women are forced to wear the string on their lower area once they get their period. They decorate themselves using flowers, feathers, and needles. Warfare plays a huge role in Yanomami life. Villages may go to war for many reasons. One common reason is capturing women. Villages that are fighting will be far away, taking days of walking. On the other hand, villages at peace will be hours away. On average, about 40% of adult males have killed another man, and 25% of adult males will die from violence. Some forms of violence include chest pounding, raids, club fights, and total warfare. Until 1980s, the Yanomami almost didn't know anything about the outer world. Since 1987, the Yanomami have seen approximately 20% of their entire population disappear because of genocide and diseases. Gold was discovered on the Yanomami territory, causing miners to illegally enter their land. The noise coming from the machines and pumps led to the extinct of animals in the region. Now the protein source for the Yanomami has disappeared. Moreover, mercury, which is used to separate the gold from the soil, was thrown into the rivers. Mercury poisoning increased while the population decreased. The weakened Yanomamis were forced to trade sex for food. By 1992, the Yanomami territory was demarcated and established, yet the government still shows no support for them. Unfortunately, in 1993, a group of miners entered the village called Haizarmo and killed 16 Yanomamis. The miners were convicted as guilty of genocide. Yet, miners are still invading the Yanomami territory. Sadly, many Brazilian figures are trying to force the Yanomami to be reduced in size or open for mining. Not to mention, the Brazilian army have built barracks in the heart of the territory, stirring up tensions, prostituting women, and transmitting them sexually transmitted diseases.